good evening and welcome. And yes, it's still me. And this is day two of the 3 day run up to the TOTO Awards 2021, which will be presented online tomorrow at 7 p.m. on this very channel. This session is special. It is on music, the very category, the art form for which the first TOTO Award was given way back in 2005. This session is called Night of the Nominee 2021, a virtual edition. In a normal year, TFA hosts a live concert featuring the musicians and bands shortlisted for the TOTO Award for Music. It takes place the night before the TOTO Awards ceremony. And we usually have a lit Friday night and a dazzling evening, which explains the glasses. This year, the Night of the Nominee goes online. You will get to know about the music making of 4 very distinctive musicians shortlisted for the TOTO for Music. 3 Oscillators, Krameri, Udbhav and Saby Singh. And you will see them perform and talk about one of their songs, recorded especially for this event, hosted by video and comics creator Natalia Rebecca Isaac. Enjoy and see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TOTO Music Awards. We have 4 nominees who made it past 289 other applicants into this final stage, and we want to showcase their work in this segment. I'm delighted to be talking to the 4 of you. Bridge, Damini, Udbhav, Sabi, welcome. I'm Natalia Rebecca. I'll be your host for the segment. I know you have music performances made exclusively for this TOTO stage, and we're all looking forward to that. So I'm not going to dilly-dally. We'll jump straight into the conversation. I'll be talking to you, Bridge.
Yes. Hi.
So you've applied as 3 Oscillators.
That's correct.
You're from Bombay, India, been making music seriously for the last 5 years, and your journey has been a collage of different influences, twisting and turning your trajectory to arrive here today. You even had a dance teacher inadvertently give you Fruity Loops on a CD back when that's how we shared
Yes.
data.
That's correct.
You've come a long way, and you started making music full time and even began teaching music production and streaming on Twitch. This actually sounds like an unusual journey for the average Indian kid. Do you find inspiration from India per se, and its cultural plethora, or is it from other parts of the world?
It's obviously been from other parts of the world because as in I was a techie kid, like I like technology and the internet. So, everything was just this influx of things from the internet and tutorials and stuff like that. So, even electronic music in general is something that found emergence in the West. So naturally, and most of us listen to like English music, so to speak. So uh, a lot of influences were from the West, but as in these recent years, I've found myself tuning into Indian samples and trying to sample them into my music. Yeah, directly or indirectly. So a mix of both right now, but I like to keep that entire Indian ethos alive. So yeah.
That's really cool. And I noticed that you said that you are able to project your true artistic vision into the music you make. And it's
Good.
not often we hear a musician say that. Can you tell us more about why you feel that way?
Um, all my whatever music I've made, I've always wanted it to be honest. I mean, it's probably very cliche, but I just want my music to be honest and evoke some kind of like I see I'm a sucker for sad music, okay? I like sad emotions. It's just yeah, it's just me. And I like conveying that in my music. in a way that only I can, I think, and in a way that I want to. So I want the listener to feel the same way I do, and I think I've reached that point where my songs have started doing that for me. So that's all that it means.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to, just like get to know more about how you do that and make your music you. Do you have any insights on that?
Uh, See, I mean, I'm a sucker for a lot of weird music, like weird, glitchy, granularized stuff. So that's what I kept searching for, and that's the craft that I kept discovering over and over again, watching YouTube tutorials day in, day out, getting sorts of getting plugins that do that for me, and just working my way through all that. And everything is just about sample selection and just how I put everything together into this weird ass beat collage that just goes up on SoundCloud after I'm done. So yeah.
So your entire production knowledge is from tutorials and you're self-taught entirely?
Correct. Yes. And I mean, I wouldn't say entirely. I mean, over the years making electronic music, I have found a lot of friends who also make electronic music, and everyone is just exchanging tips with one another. So I would say that everyone else also contributed to what I was making, because there's something to learn from everyone, right? It's not just YouTube that's going to help you out.
So do you collaborate a lot with different artists?
It's only in 2020 that I started collaborating with a lot of artists. I think 2019, as in until 2019, I was just trying to see what I could do with music in general. And 2020 was when I thought, hey, you know what? Let me just put a singer on this. Maybe collaborate with a pianist. Get their inputs into stuff, because I can't play an instrument, okay? Everything is just click, 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 and make beats and all that. I can't play an instrument. So having all these creative minds just get into my beats and create magic is something that really excites me. So yes, now I am very, very, very open to collaborations, and I look forward to collaborating with a lot of other people in the future.
Would you say that the lockdown and the pandemic had anything to do with your increased collaboration?
It actually had the opposite effect, because I made lesser music during the lockdown. I had this sort of a creative block, just thinking about what to do, because just before the lockdown, my gigs were slowly picking up in a way that it hadn't picked up in the last few years, and that really gave me all this motivation. And in fact, just 6 or 7 days before the lockdown hit India, I was in Goa doing a couple of gigs, and I was supposed to play one in Bombay. But before that could happen, the lockdown got announced, and then just after 10, 11 months, here we are chatting on Zoom. But
Yeah.
till then, as in, it really hit me in a bad way, because all that motivation just came to a standstill, and I think the first 3 months was just me figuring out what to do, because I was just lost. After that, I started doing stuff on my own, like getting onto Twitch and making music live, or tuning into others' beats, and just forming this entire community of sorts. So that really brought me up.
That is brilliant. I also checked out your website and I see how polished it is. It's got a class to it. And you even have a section where you're offering classes for people who want to learn production. And I love how you're just sharing that knowledge. Do you have a very strong inclination towards educating other people about what you do?
I started teaching music production about 2 months ago, and it's been nothing short of exciting. I mean, I whenever I teach a skill during a class to a student, and just looking at how excited that student is. It's really cool, man. It's really cool to see those kinds of emotions, and the fact that I'm helping them in their musical journey. So I don't really have a set method of teaching. I mean, I just want whoever wants to learn from me. I just want them to express their true artistry.
Now we're going to jump into some music that you have made specifically for this and a video that you've put together. And we are all looking forward to seeing how this turns out and which of the four of you are going to come out as the winner of the grant. And it was a pleasure talking to you, Bridge.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
being
Yeah,
here with us.
thank you.
Savi, you're a singer songwriter turning stories into music, an art form that's complemented by your gentle guitar playing. And you've had an interesting childhood too, infused with culture and art, and you have a penchant for weaving stories. I've had the privilege of watching you live as well, and I have seen how audiences are mesmerized by your stage presence and the way that you carry yourself. And so, how has it been for you over the last few months without having live shows and without interacting with that many people?
Uh, I think it's a very it's been a very interesting journey for me. I've never stayed home for more than 2 months. Never stayed more home for more than probably 1 month. I've always traveled, always met people. But these past 10, 11 months, I was in my room with zero contact with people. And you know what? The interesting thing that has happened with me is that the genres have started disappearing. There is no I can't really, my playlists have gone wild. I'm listening to all the electronic music from the 90s, from the 80s, and all the acoustic music that is coming. I'm into indie scene. So I for me genres have really, like, broken down. And even the fact that I'm sitting in the middle of the forest right now with just hearing to all the insects and all the sounds of the nature, from the moment I start my day to the moment I end my day, it's all one rhythm. It's all sort of like a background score for me. So, and that has happened in the lockdown. The time I spent at home, it gave me a lot of time to reflect on who I am as a musician, who I am as an artist. And music sort of like uh, it broke barriers, and it just became a lifestyle rather than a career choice or a practice that I do. It is just who I am right now, and I am grateful for the time I spend at home with myself.
That's lovely. So, where is home for you and where are you right now?
My home is where my mom is. Wherever she is, that is home for me. Uh, right now, I am in Wayanad. I am backpacking through Kerala. This is the first trip after the lockdown, and I'm going all crazy, going to all the deepest and darkest places, both emotionally and physically. So I'm in the middle of a tea estate right now in Wayanad somewhere. And you know what? They spotted a tiger a couple of months back, and there are elephants going all around us. I saw a couple of deer today. So it's amazing being here right now.
That really does sound fantastic. I see you as a
Hmm.
wanderer and an adventurer, not in that thrill bait kind of way, but in a very organic way. And how does that feed into your music?
I'll give you a subtle example. When somebody goes into the mountains, all they really write about, all they really think about is, oh my God, this novelty. I'm into the mountains. I feel great. Look at these birds flying and stuff like that. For me, the novelty really dies down like very quickly, and I just find myself in a really interesting spot where I am presented with more issues than I had before. And with all the nature around me, all the people that I'm surrounded by, it gives me a subconscious power in order to, like, really get a clarity over what the issues are, what I'm exactly feeling. So it makes the process of writing a song, writing a poem, very easy, and just it just flows through. The mountains, the place, the forest, the rivers, the nature, it just like amplifies it and presents to you in a more palatable form, so you can really analyze it and just uh, just breathe, just celebrate the flaws in you, just celebrate who you are as an individual.
Thank you for explaining that. I know that you also have a very strong feeling towards helping people deal with their mental health and just understanding themselves a lot better. Even in your blog,
Hmm.
you have one article just talking about things you can do to improve your mental health. And so, How has that been for you? How do you cope with those struggles?
I think the biggest uh, achievement of me as a human and as an artist is that I've gotten rid of that innate bias, innate judgment that we pose on ourselves. We we really fall for that conventional popular stuff that is being imposed on us, what Instagram does, what popular media does. For example, you need to have a certain body type to feel accepted. Somehow I've gotten rid of that internal judgment, and I just accept myself the way I am. I may crack lame jokes. I may be like, I may have a crooked smile, and certain people get, I'm just talking about very like superficial, literal issues. There are much more deeper issues that there are. But I think I have gotten rid of that judgment, that internal judgment that I pose on myself. And anything that is being presented to me, any insecurity, any event, any issue, I have sort of like a power where I can tell myself, "Ki Sabi, it's all right. It happens with people, and it's okay to be in a place like this. In fact, it's good to be at a place where you are, deep, dark, because the understanding it gives you, and when you come through the other side, it's way more brighter and life is more beautiful. And that's what I'm trying to project through my art. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be somebody who's like, okay, I'm a self-help guru or some shit like that. Not really that. I'm just here presenting myself with all my flaws, with all my insecurities, and I'm like, hey, I know how it feels, and at least you're not alone, and more importantly, at least I'm not alone.
So, twice now you've mentioned that you go into the darkest places, including your emotional darkness. Does that feed into your songwriting? Are you writing a lot right now, or are you just dealing with different issues?
Uh, it's a, you know, if you treat an art form as a process, as a thing, as a routine, then I don't think you can ever be able to write something which is truly honest. You can't tell yourself, okay, this is my writing phase, or this is my phase where I have to experience, this is my phase when I have to travel. Sometimes a song, sometimes an idea, sometimes a lyrics, it can drop down any moment, while traveling in a bus, while being on a, standing in a general dabba of Indian Railways. It can come anywhere. And the experiences as well. You can be at home in your room, and you can like watching a single movie, maybe listening to an album, looking at a painting. It can, infuse in all sorts of emotions, and the deeper you think about it, the broader it gets. So for me, the process doesn't really exist. There is no routine in that. It's just I allow myself to be as open as an artist, as open as a human, to people, to experiences, to events. And I keep a pen and a notebook always with me. My phone is full of my notes and stuff. The sound recorder app is all full of stuff. So for me, it's sort of like an ongoing, this is who I am, this is what I do. There is no process involved. There is no routine that I have to stick to. It's just being myself. That's how it works for me.
Thank you for that honest and clear expression of what you are and how you deal with different things. And we're all looking forward to hearing your song. Thank you for spending time with us and having this conversation, Sabi. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
सुलझे उलझी सुबह जो सरमई सी हो, उलझी लटों से रंजिश सी हो, अंदाज़े बयां भी बेबाक हो, बेरंग बेअसर शर्म हो, थक कर जब फारिग नींद हो, मंसूबे ख्याल मतलब न हो, रात के ख्वाब आँखों पे हूँ, हरारत बदन थकावट सी हो, और फिर तुम, 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 और फिर तुम।
Udbhav, you, in your own words, are existential pop culture. That's what you say about your music. And you are a man of few words everywhere except in your songs. And I've heard it being said that your music is an interesting direction for hip hop, yet you don't classify your sound as hip hop. What would you call your music?
Pop music, I think. Hindi music.
Since you collaborate with a lot of producers, how do you approach songwriting and keeping the sound the way that you want it?
I just go with it. I think like तुम जैसे भी होते हो अंदर से वो अपने आप आ जाता है बाहर उसमें you can't really control it that much and like you can't really hamper it.
You've written quite a bit of music so far, and you also do Tisri Dunya, like even Damini mentioned earlier. So tell me more about Tisri Dunya.
So it's the three of us. It's me, it's Karun and Kans, and we're school friends basically. And then after a while, we used to hang out in the park and drink juice, and then we started writing music. And I used to produce a lot back then. I started with production, and so I was trying to perfect it. And then Karun used to write a lot. Like he's been writing since he was a kid. So like I was like, "Ki, let's put this on a song," and then it happened. And Raghav was also like producing, and then we got together and things started to move.
This sounds like the ideal brotherhood. So, like, how did all three of you get into music and are from the same school? Should we thank the school or should we just thank your influences? What do you think that came? How do you think that came about?
I don't know. I was into music since childhood only. Like even my father, he's a genius. I think I get it from him. I don't know. He's sort of a spiritual person, and then he used to write songs as well when he was like way back. And I was like कि कैसे बनाते थे? तो कहते कैसे क्या बनाते थे? चाय बना रहा होता था. I've heard like 2 or 3 songs, but they were insane. He's I think he's also like quiet about things. I mean, I at first I had no idea, and
Okay.
then even I got to know like probably 2 years ago.
How?
And now like some songs that I've heard when I was a child, which I thought were like from films, they were actually his songs, and that really blew my mind. Like, oh fuck! So that was crazy. And then I listened to Skrillex in 2010 or something, and I was like, how the fuck can he make a song like that with just a laptop? So that's when a production started to fascinate me. So then I downloaded FL Studio and then started fucking around with it.
Have you ever jammed with your father?
No, no.
Do you want to do something like that?
Yes, but like मेरी फटती है भाई उनसे.
I think at some point you can invite him to be a part of Tisri Dunya and
No, he's always listening. He's watching, and he's like, okay, you're doing okay. Keep going.
like Bridge mentioned earlier, he has this whole like community of producers who are always sharing information. Do you also learn from your peers?
ज्यादातर म्यूजिक में अपने आसपास मेरे जो हैं उनका ही सुनता हूँ. मतलब ब्रिज भी है उसी में, साउंड क्लाउड पे जितने भी बंदे आ रहे हैं आजकल. तो मेरा दोस्त है तूर जो है, नातिक है और मुल्तानी है, तो ज्यादातर, और राघव, करुण, इन सब का म्यूजिक ही सुनता हूँ मैं आजकल.
It's really nice how it's such a concentrated scene and there's so much happening and bubbling underneath the surface. And I think that maybe you'll be able to give a voice to those things as we go forward. And if you take music forward, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Changing the way Indian masses perceive music, थोड़ा
Oh,
उनके
wow.
like broadening the taste that is acceptable to them, like changing the kind of music like India listens to, not the uh, क्या एक word होता है वो, privileged, not the privileged kids, but like India.
Do you count yourself as one of the privileged kids?
Obviously,
How does it feel to be making music for someone who isn't like you?
सब इंसान ही है. अगर
Well
हिंदी
said.
जानते हैं तो ठीक
Well
है.
said.
मतलब ऐसा कि कॉम्प्लेक्स चीजों के बारे में बात थोड़ी करनी है. मतलब
Yeah.
मेरे
Yeah.
ख्याल से लाइफ में सबको सब कुछ देखने का मौका मिलता है. सब सब दिखाती है लाइफ. छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं यार, मतलब जो बेसिक चीजें हैं,
Yeah.
जैसे मतलब हम जिंदा है, बढ़िया है.
I feel like if anyone wants to get a real taste of the inner workings of your brain, they have to listen to your music. And so we're going to do that as we jump into the track that you have sent in for the Music Awards. Thank you so much for being with us, Udbhav, and thank you for sharing your music with us.
वेळ लागल्याशिवाय इतिहास घडत नाही.
लगे कश कसूरस रस दिखे सब सगड़ up दिखे बस सिटी रश बेड़ा हरी up दिखे बस सिटी रश बेड़ा हरी up दिखे सड़कें दिखे सौदे दिखे मुझे बस पैसों के पौधे जा जाओ मिले मौके ही मौके मुझे बोतलों को फोड़ने का शौक है. I Google my name now cause I've been feeling lucky tripping precautionary अपने से दोस्ती कर ली नोटों की गड्डियाँ टूटी हड्डियाँ देखी कोर्ट कचहरी गरम गद्दियाँ गंदी बंदियाँ जादुई घड़ी हाथ में पहनी कब कपाए बदन लड़खड़ाए मन सीधा चलाना कभी भी गुम मधुबन में मैं करूँ फन किस्मत ये मौत से छीनी रातें जाग मैंने देखा सवेरा मुझे तारे न गिना घूंघट रहता ओढ़े हमेशा कभी मिलने तो आ राधे श्याम जी के कजन का बेटा मेरा माखन नीच खा कहने को है मुझसा कहीं ना किंतु मैं तो सब में छुपा न्यू दिल्ली सिटी रैपिंग कोल्ड नाइट्स foggy मेरा माइंड I don't like clubs I don't like smoking up थोड़ा एसिड मौका लगे जब गाने क्लासिक लौंडे प्लास्टिक I won't tell you what you're asking जिगर सख्त मेरा लौड़ा फ्लैसिड आंखें बंद करूं मैजिक सुनूं मन की आवाजें नीले बिंदु की धुन तभी उड़ने लगा मैं अंतरिक्ष में गुम मेरे मित्र इधर से मुझको पुकारा करें ओ सखी प्यार से कहती चलो दोबारा करें क्या करें रातें जाग मैंने देखा सवेरा मुझे तारे न गिना घूंघट रहता ओढ़े हमेशा कभी मिलने तो आ राधे श्याम जी के कजन का बेटा मेरा माखन नीच खा कहने को है मुझसा कहीं ना किंतु मैं तो सब में छुपा
वेळ लागल्याशिवाय इतिहास घडत नाही.
Damini Chauhan, you're known professionally as Krameri, which started out as a collaboration between producer Gopi, also known as 6091, and both of you produced and uploaded a collection of songs to YouTube, which quickly earned you a following, resulting in shows and even an overseas tour. You've since taken the solo route with production and songwriting. And how has that been for you? What is it like doing your music solo versus doing it with somebody else?
I mean, ever since I went solo, it's been nice in the sense that I feel like I couldn't have been in a band my whole life, and I feel like I just have more control over when I want to do something, how I want to do something. And I'm still always working with Gopi, like he's still a very good friend, but I also just get to work with different producers and like different artists and keep my own identity as well. So I feel like it's been organic and it's been good. And while I do miss working with someone and just sharing that workload or like completely being invested in something together, like even that's a great thing. Whereas when you're alone, I feel like it could be a bit overwhelming and everything is so subjective, so you never really know if something works or not. But yeah, so far so good.
Nice. You've had a really rich history when it comes to studying music. You've traveled abroad and you've done a lot of different things. And how has that contributed to your music? I know you love taking inspiration from the space that you're in. So, what is that like?
Yeah, so my musical journey started about 5 years back when I joined KM Music Conservatory in Chennai, founded by A.R. Rahman. While I was studying, I was very this angsty, rebellious kind of teenager, and like, why should I study classical music? I don't want to make music that's been made and all that. But like looking back, that has actually really helped me with songwriting and just knowing chords or like knowing my way around the piano and how to transpose stuff or something has, I think, made my songwriting better. And I gradually found out what I wanted to do over the course of those 4 years. In the first year, I took singing, but that was opera singing, and I realized I didn't want to do that. I couldn't even sing that, so I felt like I just moved on from one thing to the next, feeling like, no, this isn't my thing, this isn't my thing. And then I took piano for 1 year. 2 years, I studied classical, grade 8 Trinity pieces I played. Then I did composition, but that was more of like classical composition. Then I went, we do 1 year in Middlesex in London because it's affiliated with KM, so I studied pop music there. So I've done like a mishmash of everything, but then I realized that I want to be an artist and a songwriter, and that feels like, it just feels like what I want to be. And for that, I feel like I have to know a bit of everything.
I think you're doing a really good job of bringing a lot of different sounds and ideas together, because it sounds like that in your music. And you have an almost whimsical idea. I know that you think that you dream so much that it feels as if it's already happened. Is there any moment you feel that you've dreamt into existence?
Oh, what do you mean by that? Like, have I manifested something or like that?
No, but something that you've worked towards because you've dreamt it so much and you wanted that to happen. Is music one of those things?
Yeah, I think there's a quote by Albert Einstein in which he says imagination is more important than knowledge. And I feel like that's like saying creativity is more important than skill, because it's the idea of what you want to do with something that is the most exciting thing. Like, even if I'm just walking in the street but I'm listening to a song, like a particular song, it will change my whole reality for that point, because it will be so subjective. And if I'm walking that same street but I'm listening to like hip hop the next day or jazz the next day, like I'll perceive it differently, right? So I feel like rather than thinking about the future and making something, like you can just change your present with whatever your inner reality.
Heavy.
Yeah, I just came up with this on the spot. I don't know what I'm saying.
Are you going to write a song about that now?
I don't know.
No, but your music is clearly inspired by the spaces that you're in. And I think you're in Gujarat right now?
I'm in Chennai right now, but I'm originally
Okay.
from Gujarat, yes.
Okay. So what is it? What is it like to be in one space? I'm imagining that you were stuck in one place throughout the lockdown. Was that the case?
Yes, I was in Chennai for 5 months. Then I went back home for another 4 months, and yeah, now I'm back. But I mean, the lockdown was not that bad for me. Like everyone, it had its curves and peaks and all that. Beginning, I just didn't do anything for the first few months. I was just like, I am not going to try even. And then I think there was this productive curve when I was randomly, I couldn't fall asleep one night, and then I was on a SoundCloud listening, falling down this rabbit hole, listening to random artists, and I came across this artist from Delhi called Karun, and he works with Udbhav, and they're in this collaboration called Tisri Dunya, and I heard all their stuff, and I was like, wow, like how do I not know of this person? And I just messaged him right then that like, I love your stuff and it's amazing, and then he sent me a voice note of an idea, and we just made a song like that, and then we made an EP. And I sent him ideas, he sent me ideas, and it just felt so natural. So I think like for most of that lockdown, for like 4-5 months that I was in Chennai, I was working on that. And that's the first EP that I produced like on my own. And Udbhav has mixed and mastered it as well, and he's like contributed to that. But like before this, for my own songs, I used to like mostly like rely on other producers to complete stuff, but this was the first thing that I felt like I made. And working with him was so much fun. So yeah, Karun made the lockdown worthwhile.
That's amazing. Is that something that we can look forward to in the upcoming days, weeks, months?
Oh, as in that EP is already out. It's called Sawalat, and it's the first time I sang in Hindi also.
What is that like?
It was. I mean, I haven't sung in Hindi previously because I'm not too good with Hindi lyrics. But I love singing in Hindi. I feel like it has this depth to it, and yeah, slowly that's also feeling natural.
Do you feel like that is a direction that you will take going forward?
Maybe, like I'm always open to singing everything, but I feel for my own songwriting, it will be English, and then I'll try like to put those Indian melodies and stuff which come, I think, more naturally. But if I'm collaborating with someone, yeah, Hindi. I would definitely sing in Hindi.
So you're interning at a studio. So what does that look like for you?
It's great. It's living the dream. I'm currently making soundscapes with this sound design software called Kima. I feel like Bridge would love it. I'm not the most technical person, so I don't get crazy about these things, but like I'm always curious, and I'm open to learning stuff, and it's an amazing opportunity. So I'm just doing like granular synthesis and like chopping up stuff, or like finding samples from YouTube and stretching them out to make ambient soundscapes, and just like this bank of sounds that we could use.
Thank you so much for being with us, Damini. Thank you for having this conversation, and we're excited to hear your track now. And I will be looking forward to the results when they are out. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
This time I look before I fall. So new, so creative. Come here, we'll fake it. The new kids on the block, watch out. All this time I had you waiting, but now I'm So cool, you're crazy. God, I wish I was your favorite. You said I was trouble, you named me. All this time my heart was raining. I'm always cold because I'm breaking. I'll wear a dress again, will you paint me? Yeah, all this time I faced it. I wouldn't lie, I really prayed it. I think you'd know Thursdays were my favorite.
Thank you all for being a part of this. It was wonderful to have different personalities, different stories, hearing all of this. And it just gives us a greater idea of the personalities behind your music. And we're looking forward to hearing the results. And we will see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't go away. The next segment begins at 7 p.m. It's on the work of 4 photographers shortlisted for the TOTO Awards. See you shortly.